Boo! Did I scare you? I'm just kidding. That was terrible. But that's a great segue into this video. I'm sorry.
We can do it in the asshole.
Hello.
Hello.
It's hello.
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 Hello there.
Hello. Our story begins on Dathomir. Obi-Wan and Anakin were visiting because Savage Hulk-smashed a Jedi outpost on Deveron. They were speaking with the legendary mother of the Night Sister clan. Talzin was quite the elegant force of nature, leading the two Jedi to her discussion room, so that she might give them the information they came for. Talzin, despite being in closer connection with the Sith, wasn't aligned with anyone. She had no problem helping the Jedi so that she could maintain her neutrality. Though, while they were talking their way into her discussion room, she noted something from Kenobi. A slight interest or something more. Obi-Wan, aside from being the master of defense and a genius at diplomacy, not to mention a total master at cunnilingus, like Benjamin Franklin, was also witty and flirtatious with just about anyone he came across. He found joy in it, because it never had to be serious, but there was nothing wrong with just flirting around. Talzin hadn't ever really encountered this, due to Dathomiri customs and how the witches were the dominant power on the planet. There was no simple flirting, and Obi-Wan played the table. He wasn't here to do anything over the top, just get a vibe, have some fun. The three of them sat down and continued speaking, as Obi-Wan asked her about her little wings. Talzin's eyes narrowed, explaining their origin and continuing forward. Brilliant move by Kenobi. It was countered when she asked what she considered to be an equally as ridiculous question, like, what was the facial hair for? Anakin, without saying a word, continued batting his eyes from each of the older people in the room, one barely 36 and the other one over 200, which isn't weird at all, by the way. Kenobi continued this little back and forth, enjoying it quite a bit. Talzin didn't really understand why she was doing it, but it was pretty amusing to her. After finally getting the answer through a ton of boring dialogue that we're not here for, the two Jedi got up and started out of the room. Anakin was psyched to get out of here because this place gave him the creeps. But when he looked back, Obi-Wan wasn't anywhere to be seen. That's weird. Anakin decided to just let whatever was happening happen. Inside the room he just left, Obi-Wan and Talzin were facing off. It was a true stare-down. They had been playing eye tag, shooting daggers and tossing up little flirts for the longer part of a half hour. Kenobi threw another one at her, and she turned it around just for him. A nice, delicious flirt. As they were doing this, Obi-Wan realized something. The gorgeous grippers Talzin had, and he meant fingernails, you fucking monster. She fluttered them and showed them off. Barely trimmed in centuries, and didn't look a day over 30. Oh, how charming. See, there's something that Obi-Wan had picked up on. If Maul had truly returned from the dead, or even better, somehow returned, which he technically did, then surely Kenobi needed to be prepared. Savage was already an annoyance, a true master of everything in under 5 seconds flat. Damn, Savage, look at you go. That's not a big deal at all, surely no one will have a problem with that. But the point being, Obi-Wan needed true leverage, so he told Talzin he'd be right back, thus losing the game of stare-down. The Jedi Master quickly rushed outside to tell his buddy that he'd be right back. Anakin remained pretty perplexed, just watching his master grab something from a cabinet and running, not jogging, but running back to the cave. So when a mommy loves a daddy, something else happens. This is more of when a strikingly good-looking young rapscallion takes an interest in a cougar. Yes! After 3 or so minutes, actually, after 40 or so, after the night went by, Obi-Wan would return to the ship. What the fuck am I doing? Anakin was sleeping like a dad on the chair, but he wasn't the father.
Hey, Sean, you are not.
Obi-Wan quickly informed Anakin about the deal. Essentially, the boys were not to lay a hand on them. What boys? Was Anakin's next question, because he hadn't connected the dots. So, yeah, as it turns out, Mother Talzin is actually Mama T, and she was the mother, emphasis on mother, of Savage, Maul, and some other dork that died a couple days before Savage left Dathomir. Anakin needed to know how they proved this to either of them, because they couldn't really just say that they were clear because Mother Talzin said they were, could they? Obi-Wan smiled like a villain and told Anakin to just trust the process. Just don't trust it like Joel Embiid would.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
They left the planet for a couple of days before Obi-Wan and Anakin had to split up. Despite what Anakin knew about the game of Jedi Code, there was actually a secretly allowed way to maintain a relationship. In the deep lore of the Jedi, if a Jedi were able to Jedi around like a Jedi, then they could Jedi into a relationship like a Jedi. Now, if you're a master, there's a cooler translation that Anakin wouldn't ever be able to read, if he could read. The deep lore suggests that if a Jedi enters a relationship to blackmail a Sith, then they are permitted to do it. If this relationship exists with a cougar, then they are even more so encouraged to do it, because cougars, in the eyes of the Jedi, are to be protected. This is so fucking stupid, man. Anakin didn't understand that he too could apply for this because Natalie Portman in Star Wars is essentially a cougar. Look, not saying I would kill some younglings, but I'm also not saying...
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Obi-Wan and Talzin reunited again, under the darkened skies of Dathomir. Anakin no longer standing in the doorway, interrupting them like a child who threw up. They were able to spend this time together, but somewhere else, also not disclosed, Maul felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if his mother had just... It couldn't be.
We can do it in the asshole.
Savage looked at Maul, not understanding anything, because he uses 3 half brain cells, and Maul rushed to the edge of the non-disclosed location, telling his brother that they should leave. They traveled across the stars, bouncing off of asteroids and rushing back to their home. What they didn't know is Anakin was paying Obi-Wan a visit too. Because of whatever vile things Maul sensed in the Force, which were vile, Kenobi wanted to make sure things were official, because it'd be funny. Talzin, after about a week, was also like, wow, this is a great idea. Also, hey, if you're knocking the integrity of a meme video, Anakin and Padme basically did this, so don't at me. Anyways, they slapped a ring on it, and Obi-Wan needed to get a stool to kiss his bride, the Amazon tall muscle mommy Mother Talzin, emphasis on mother.
Fuck it.
As it turns out, Maul and Savage were here just in time for cake and the song Shout. At this point, Maul and Savage are Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson from the hit movie Wedding Crashers, which I suppose in this scenario means that Anakin is Rachel McAdams? Part of me thinks I've gone too far, but the rest of me realizes I haven't gone far enough. Anyways, as the ceremony is taking place, Maul and his little but bigger bro walk up to the thingy. Mommy T, Obi-Wan, and Anakin were all standing together because they're the main act, and then they turn to see the 2 Zabrak boys. Obi-Wan hit Maul with a...
Oh, hello there!
And Maul hit Obi-Wan with a...
No problem. I be here 20 years, no problem.
Of course, that got a nice scolding from Mother Talzin because why ruin her perfect ceremony? What kind of selfish prick does Maul think he is? And you're not going to talk back to your mom, are you? Maul wasn't. Talzin had to push her child to be a little kinder to his new stepfather. You know, Obi-Wan tried to make it easy, like when he told Maul that at least he wasn't the one in the family who had to call him daddy. This almost set him off, but no time for that. They were taking couples pictures for safekeeping. Obi-Wan also, trying to be anything other than conniving, told Maul that he'd take an extra picture to hang in his room. Anakin also remained pretty perplexed throughout all of this. Like he got it, but he also didn't get what was happening, you know? And so he took some pictures too, because he was the best man after all. The 2 Jedi did their little poses, some with laser swords, others with Talzin, and they just continued having fun. Maul was despondent, and Obi-Wan promised to take him fishing, which is a huge deal on Dathomir. The rest of the ceremony would continue, and then it was time for the honeymoon. They were going to be spending some time at the resorts, gamble in the casinos a little bit, and even visit the Magic Kingdom. So by the time they returned with their fresh backs, Mickey Mouse hats, and some extra penny, Obi-Wan was free to take Maul on their fishing trip. Throughout their trip, because Dathomir didn't have any good fishing spots, Maul whined and complained about Obi-Wan being his new stepfather. He was a grown man, and he wasn't going to call him dad. Insert another daddy joke here, just for good measure. Maul couldn't do anything though, because Obi-Wan was off limits, and truthfully, he hadn't seen Team Mommy this happy in a while, so he couldn't be super spiteful.
Whoa! Adam Sandler just came up with it.
Would you not be yourself?
For 5 minutes!
Their fishing trip was a nice change of pace for Obi-Wan. The Clone War was getting boring. Every day a new battle. Every day memorializing a new trooper. It was just getting out of hand. Talzin was a great break from all of that. They were the perfect match because they were both unnecessarily witty, and they could both talk in accents that just worked for the other one of them. I guess that's something like that. On the small boat, Maul would accidentally plant his metallic boot through the floorboard, forcing Obi-Wan to tell his little buddy that it would be alright. Maul would blame Obi-Wan for it, and then the gaslighting would begin.
I didn't do anything. You're just imagining that, bro. Get gaslit.
Because Obi-Wan wouldn't ever hurt someone so close to his beloved, and Talzin, of course, would never marry someone who dare hurt her little guy, they couldn't let him know that Obi-Wan actually hurt the little guy. But throughout the fishing trip, Maul and Obi-Wan would continue to try and get along. It was really easy for Obi-Wan because he was actually trying, but Maul was miserable the entire time. Though Maul would catch the biggest fish, and he would be able to show it off to Mother Talzin before they returned to the caves of Dathomir. Yeah, FaceTime is a work of magic even in Star Wars.
Bananas.
When they got back to the cave, Maul tried to cite the abuse he suffered, and this is when the true gaslighting began. Mother Talzin could learn the truth, or she could continue hanging out with the lumberjack. Hey, Penty.
No.
Yes, my friend.
Wait.
What does lumberjack mean?
No.
Well, it means Obi-Wan was laying the wood.
Wait.
Still fucking spectacular, eh?
Maul continued to plead with Mother Talzin, but she was so dedicated to the bit that she showed him a green orb. Oh god.
Yeah, sorry.
She accidentally showed him the wrong one, which kind of ruined a lot of things for Maul. Like, you know how he viewed his mother? Yeah, it was exactly what you think it was. But the second orb was the right one. It showed Maul how he lost his legs. He was on Naboo, but instead of losing his legs to Obi-Wan, the ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn cut his legs in half. Or cut him in half, I guess. And Obi-Wan confusedly climbed up and Maul was left to fall. The first watch through made him angry. Then he consulted his own memory and, well, maybe it didn't happen like the way he thought it did.
Get gaslit.
Obi-Wan jumped out so fast that perhaps he just imagined it. The gaslighting continued, because now Maul watched it over and over again, seeing that Obi-Wan, in fact, was not responsible for his current predicament. Mother Talzin told him to go and apologize to Obi-Wan for acting out of line. Maul did as she asked, and was forced to give Dad Kenobi an apology for being mean to him during their father and son time. This ended in a cutesy little hug. Oh, how fun. With so much going on Dathomir, surely there was something else transpiring around the galaxy. Oh, there was. The Clone Wars were still going on, and while Anakin was the Rachel McAdams of Savage's and Maul's wedding crashers, he wasn't getting bent over. Instead, he and Savage were broskies. Unlike with Maul, Savage wasn't necessarily forced to be a good boy. Instead, he was able to just bond with Anakin because both were naturally psychopaths. So it made being friendly with each other and working with each other a lot easier, because they were hanging out. They were like the terrible twins. They didn't really listen to orders, and they destroyed battle droids. They also shared a single brain cell, which made them pretty much unstoppable. Their biggest threat was words with 3 syllables.
See you, chump. What the hell?
Sidious, on the other hand, remained unaware of anything changing. Mother Talzin, though, worried for her hubby. Obi-Wan, being a Jedi, was at threat. He hadn't spent a whole lot of time anywhere but with Talzin, so he was safe, but she'd be damned if her little Stew John boy toy got a boo-boo. So instead, she devised a plan to absolutely skew the Clone Wars, something that would forever protect Kenobi. Talzin didn't confide in anyone when she created her master plan. She simply just requested that everyone come to Dathomir. Who was everyone, you might ask? Well, it's everyone. Duh. Obi-Wan, the terrible twins, returned back, Maul, and someone else. Talzin figured the best approach to ending conflict was by bringing in someone else. She figured that Sidious would be a fun person to bring to Dathomir, which she was right in thinking. Palpatine thought he was coming to the Witch World to meet a new Sith prospect, but as it turns out, he was included in the family reunion. When he arrived, Maul bamboozled him by jumping out of the bushes and begging him to take him back. Sidious was startled by this. Naturally, he almost electrocuted Maul, but the former apprentice pointed through the brush, prompting Sidious to take a gander, which he regretted immediately. When he walked through, he almost hurled, seeing Talzin and Obi-Wan mushing their faces together. Oh yeah. He turned the Maul, who jumped into his arms, and they ran, kind of like a Scooby-Doo thing.
What? How quickly can you get something done? Like, if you said, I want an ice cream, how quickly would I... That sends an ice cream.
Oh, shit.
What?
Skibbity toilet rinse.
When they came back, after regathering their composure, they asked what the hell they walked in on. More of a Sidious question than the Maul one, because Maul had seen the sex tape.
I could have fucking slept.
As Obi-Wan and Talzin prepared their answer, Anakin palmed Palpatine's shoulder and told him that they were the newlyweds. He was invited to see them. Anakin obviously wasn't aware that Palpatine was Sidious or Sidious was Palpatine, but the thought of jolting a Sith like that would be funny, and Palpatine wasn't nearly as amused.
Are you retarded?
Sidious wanted to piece it together, but Talzin told him to stop thinking and just do. It worked out for her, pretty literally too. She suggested that he just look at them. It was a match made in hell, because it's Dathomir. Things that are opposite are actually good, because Shrek logic, i.e., hell is heaven, heaven is hell, because witches are something.
What are you doing?
Sidious just looked at the two of them, and then the Maul, who seemed eager for Palpatine to save him. There would be no saving, as Sidious asked how their little dynamic worked. Obi-Wan stepped forward with a perfect grin, speaking openly about when a cougar finds a young striking rapscallion, but he was cut off because Mother Talzin doesn't say blah blah blah. It's an accent thing.
Do not say blah blah blah.
I'm actually gonna commit murder. I'm gonna force feed you fucking toenails. So they walked into the cave so the fever dream could continue, but it only continued for Palpatine. They gave him a roofie, which is only funny because Palpatine is Satan himself.
What?
Bananas.
This was like Death Sticks, Roofie Mix, and also Yoda's ketamine stash, combined, knocked up to a 10. So what they gave Palpatine sent him immediately into shock. When he escaped his acid dream, one that included dancing clones and a magical Order 67, he looked at everyone around the room.
What?
What are you doing?
Yes, Palpatine, what are they doing? Well, they were playing the game of life. Literally, they had the board out and everything. They would have still been playing Monopoly, but Maul lost half of his money when he landed on Obi-Wan's blue Monopoly. A lot of halves, and he also got put in timeout. Imagine being a grown man and your 200-year-old plus mother puts you in timeout. I guess she can get away with it at that point, honestly. Anyways, Obi-Wan took away Maul's laser sword until he could be a good boy, and you can imagine how happy that made him. Because it made him overwhelmingly happy. Anakin and Savage were concocting a strategy to take out Talzin and Obi-Wan, but the older couple were basically working as a team to win, which somehow works in the game of life. Look, good morning. But Palpatine stumbled into their set and asked what they were doing. It was explained, and he sat in a perplexed state. Palpatine became Anakin because now he was confused, whereas Anakin was not. However, Obi-Wan and Anakin realized what Palpatine needed. First, a round of Cards Against Humanity. But really though, Anakin had his cougar, as he had come to learn. Obi-Wan had his muscle mommy cougar. What Palpatine needed was that old duck hussy. I honestly don't know if I've gone too far this time or not, so we're gonna just keep going.
Do you like ducks?
So as Palpatine was recovering from his Yoda ketamine roofie, something that would have even knocked the Grand Master off of his feet, he was given the option to match up with his own Night Sister. According to legend, the magic of the Night Sisters is in fact their magic. Palpatine was given the choice to get his own Dathomir magic, and he'd make the choice to become a brother-in-law or something with Obi-Wan. It initially started as a quest for greater knowledge, because even roofied Palpatine was power-obsessed, but it eventually devolved into him learning the meaning of life. Old Daka was all in on this. She, of course, could be considered an even older cougar, which is fine. Palpatine wasn't familiarized with experience. She, on the other hand, had mastered the game. What does that mean? I don't fucking want to know. So, with Obi-Wan, Maul, and Palpatine officially becoming related to each other through their family tree or something, they couldn't be mortal enemies. They went from fighting a war with each other to being family. So surely nothing ever goes wrong in a big family. Well, good thing they're in a wholesome PP meme video, because Palpatine's heart grew 3 times that day. Or one of those days. Maybe it was over the course of a few days. Point being, it wasn't the only thing that got bigger. Please. I actually gotta end this video. This is getting too far. Anyways, Anakin, Palpatine, and Obi-Wan, all with their cougars, ended the Clone War. They stopped the war and shacked up for the long haul. Dooku at the end of this felt like he was left out, because he was. But that's okay, because Dooku doesn't fucking matter. He'd get nuked because I feel like it. Grievous, though, he'd probably get a happy ending. Not the massage one. The war evaporated because the plot says so. Mother Talzin and Obi-Wan would live eternally with each other. Yeah, you thought I was fucking about when I said their magic was magic. Well, the magic that Talzin magicked all over Obi-Wan. Christ almighty. The magic that Talzin magicked all over Obi-Wan kept him from kicking the can for the next several thousand years.
Is that it?
The Night Sisters were able to spread that love to Padme and Anakin, which I guess means that things don't ever get stale in the Skywalker family. But what do I know? I'm just writing this abomination, somehow reading it and regretfully editing it. Yeah, that's the fucking story. Happy April Fools or something. So, anyways, I'm gonna go do something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I hope you enjoyed. Bye.